What's up, everyone? It's Wednesday. It's time for BRAP, Basement Radio K podcast, and where we are fair and balanced. And if you don't believe me, I will say I have proof of this because majority of Twitter has blocked me, mostly from those who swing the green lantern from side to side, if you know what I mean. Which is weird because I enjoy that platform. Don't play it a lot, but I do enjoy it, and wish them all the success in the world. But yet, I am blocked by many in the Green Lantern community. But again, when you're fair and balanced, this is what happens when you seek the truth, when you seek to speak from a position of knowledge. This is what happens. You get blocked. You get blocked. When you don't carry the pitchforks and the torches, when you don't run with the hive mentality, you get blocked. This is why I say we are fair and balanced here at BRAP. So, anyhow, what's up? What's up, Yobi? Big shout out to the live chat, by the way. See some regular faces. Really appreciate each and every one of you. What's up, Capono 5150? Definitely see some regular faces here, Jeff B Gaming, some others here, and really appreciate you all coming out, supporting the show every week. I really do appreciate it. So, thank you, Truth Serum. I'm going to preach here a little bit. Do me a favor, though. Retweet the link or drop the link at your favorite social media platform. Let everyone know that we are live. So, got a lot to talk about, actually. There's a lot of, there was 2 shows yesterday. Yesterday was a great day for gaming. We had the Nintendo Direct and we had Sony State of Play the same day, which was great. I mean, I mean, talk about just being a great time to be a gamer. Look, I think 2023 is going to be a great year for all platforms. And if you own all 3 console platforms, you are in for a treat. You are going to be trying to figure out how to get through what I would imagine a catalog of games. And I mean, it's just 2023 is going to looks great. I mean, I'm excited. I don't know how I'm going to be able to play many of the games that are coming out in 2023 as I own all the platforms. So, but yeah, now the rest of the BRAP panel will be joining me here shortly, I hope. I think. We'll see. But actually, let me do something real quick here. Actually, I need to retweet. BRAP is live. I forgot to retweet this. All right, there we go. All right, so just had to retweet that real quick. Sorry about that. Now, how many? Capoto, I don't think it's gonna be a one-man show tonight. No one has said that they're not showing up. I'm sure everyone's just running late. Yep. Actually, Game Logic just messaged me, says he's running late. Problems with his mic, so he'll be here shortly, and Slummo will be here shortly as well. So you guys are gonna have to tolerate me for a little bit. But let me ask you guys something. Anyone here a professional wrestling fan? Just show of hands here. I don't know if anyone is. Let's see here. No show of hands. I don't think anyone here is a professional wrestling fan. Used to be. Okay, Prophet33 said I used to be. All right, Fake Man Bear Pig says, yo. Old school, yes, better streets, old school. Okay, real quick. So I don't know if anyone is watching AEW, but AEW is actually being in the news if you watch wrestling. Look, there was a media scrum. CM Punk basically cursed out the EVPs of the show, which are the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega, and went off on Adam Page for going into business for himself. And so there's a lot of drama around this. Someone said Papa Shango, which was actually Papa Shango actually became the Godfather. That was his thing. So, okay, Johnny, the CM Punk news might get me back. Okay, so I have a theory. I have a theory. I have a couple theories about what's going on at AEW. Kenny Omega once said that what they want to do with professional wrestling is have you consume it in different ways, right? So I have a theory here. Yeah, Dragonheart Yobi knows what I'm talking about. Puck basically tore through the whole AEW. Yeah. So I have a theory. Look, how else could you consume professional wrestling different? This is what Kenny Omega is saying. This is what they want to do. Yeah, okay. Cursus, I hope I pronounced that. Is it Curus? I don't know. Hopefully I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly. He said it's all a work. That is my theory. It's a work. Think about this. Blurring the lines between reality and letting it play out on the dirt sheets and letting it play out on social media. Every wrestling podcast, yes, the Big Lebowski. Every wrestling podcast, online, news site is talking about this. Literally, if you feed the algorithm, you're going to see that it's all AEW. Yeah, Dragonheart says, plus Tony Khan's facial reaction. Yeah, think about this. Unless Tony Khan is just incompetent, which maybe he is. But here's my theory. Look at him at the press conference. He just let him CM Punk have his way. And everyone's talking about this. Tony Khan worked his way into a shoot. The locker room's dysfunctional. Leaks are leaking. I mean, there's abundance of leaks. Yes, Punk is apparently injured too. So I think that one thing I've noticed, and so MJF just came out and dropped a promo on Jon Moxley and talked about we all know Jon Moxley overcame alcohol. Well, is an alcoholic and stopped drinking and took some time off from AEW to do that. Brappa the Rappa. That should be a game. Sir Nick, China is not alive anymore. She actually, very tragic news. She actually passed away from, I think she overdosed on sleep pills, I think, or something. Yeah, Triple H is not wrestling. He actually almost died too. He has actually a pacemaker now, or a defibrillator. He had a heart condition, almost died actually. The flat earthers say bad press is good press. All right, so component, great point, by the way. So here's the thing. It is everything around the wrestling media podcasts are all talking about AEW, and I'm wondering if this is just a big work. It's a big work, and they're blurring the lines of reality. It's coming. It's making you think about AEW. It's making you think about the product. It's making you think about, oh my God, not the Shockmaster Gavin House. Remember the Shockmaster? And they revealed him, he came stumbling through the wall and fell. Wow. But if this isn't a work, yeah, AEW, I don't know. Maybe they're heading down the road to WCW. But that's my theory. I think this is a work. I'm probably going to do another podcast where I talk about this a little bit more in the future. Or in the future. I'm probably going to do a podcast where I kind of dive into this a little bit more. Yeah, so the Unknown X saying, nah, it's not a work, wasn't Cody. Yeah, I mean, some people thought that was a work too. And that's a great point. Maybe it isn't a work. But I think it is. I think it is because Tony Khan let CM Punk bury those guys, the EVPs, and didn't even say anything. Unless Tony's just completely incompetent. And, I don't know. Anyhow, let's move on to gaming here. It's just kind of my quick, theory about what's going on AEW. Did everyone see Steve Austin is the GOAT? Steve Austin was great. Did anyone see the reveal? So the media has received PSVR 2. So The Verge has The Verge and a couple other IGN. Couple other media sites actually got their hands on with PlayStation VR 2 headsets, and the feedback has been pretty positive. I mean, so clearly an upgrade from the previous for the previous PlayStation VR headset. So this one is described as having a more modern look that resembles the PlayStation 5 design. Kind of takes use the same ethos as the PlayStation 5 design. You plug the PlayStation VR 2 headset via USB-C cable. The headset's an OLED screen. We know about that. Offers a 110-degree field of view and 4K HDR. Supports frame rates up to 90 hertz and 120 hertz. I'm sorry. Supports frame rates of 90 hertz to 120 hertz. That helps with, smooth gameplay. Maybe also helps with motion sickness, things like that. What's up, B Money? We got B Money in the house. I can't hear you, B. Uh-oh, let me see something here, B. I cannot hear you, B. I don't know if B's there. Let's see here. Give me a sec here, guys. I want to make sure that... B, are you there? B Money. All right. I'm not sure if B can hear us. I think he left. All right. So, B, are you there? I cannot hear you for some reason. Hold on a sec here, man. Let me see something here. Give me a sec here, B. B, you there?
Yo, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. You know what? I something in my Discord setting wasn't set correctly, but I can hear you now, man. What's up, B?
What's going on, man?
Dude, we have missed you, man. We have missed you. It's been weeks.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry. Life.
Hey, I get it, man.
I actually literally just got home. Saw that you posted this show. Just left my son's football game. So I was like, you know what? I haven't been on a show in a while. There's a lot of stuff going on in the gaming world. Let me jump in here with my guys and talk some gaming stuff.
Yeah. By the way, B, let me just tell you something. You may have contributed to a shoe addiction I might have now.
Hey, man, I try to spread it around, man.
Oh man, I got the New Balance, the 327s.
Yeah.
Oh man, let me tell you, I love them. Not that night. I love the style, design. It's not crazy. It's about $100, right?
Yep.
Then I got the Jordans. On the same day, I got the New Balance. I saw them. They had B Money. You know I have a problem with FOMO, right? So
yeah, of course.
I go to Dick's Sporting Goods and I see there I go there to go buy my son's soccer shoes, right? And
Right.
He's trying on shoes, and then I'm like, you know what? I want to buy shoes. I saw the New Balances. They didn't have the color I wanted, so they special ordered the ones that I wanted. Got those, and then as soon as I'm about to pay, I'm about to pay. I turn around. They have the Jordans, the ones that I wanted as a child.
Yeah.
Sitting there on a platform, like on a platform. And I looked at him. I said, "How much are those?" The guy looks at me and goes, "120." I said, "Oh, sold."
Yes, sir.
I said, "Can I get
how easy it happens, man?
Can I get a size?" I said, "Can I get a size 10.5?" He goes, "Yes." He goes, "Now." I go, "Are you going to go get them now?" He goes, "No, I have to wait for my manager to go get them. They're locked up somewhere else." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Now, B, let me tell you something, man. I have been looking at Jordans ever since, like more Jordans, like the retro ones, and I haven't even worn those yet. They're still sitting in the box. I'll wear them eventually.
Happens,
But apparently they have things called crease guards now. I didn't have that. I don't really buy shoes, and they're like, "Hey, do you want to buy crease guards to protect the shoe?" I'm like, "What does that do?" "Oh, it protects the leather from creasing is the top of the shoe where your toes are. Whatever.
Yeah, the toe box.
Yeah, toe box. Thank you. So I bought that.
Yeah. Hey,
But B, let me tell you, man, those Jordans, man,
it's easy to fall into the trap, man.
nostalgia, dude, nostalgia, man. So, but nah, B, it's great to have you on, man. We got a lot to talk about. I was actually getting ready to talk about. I was actually talking about the PlayStation VR 2. A lot of media sites have gotten hands on with it now, so we're getting close to, that product hitting retail soon. So also want to
everybody seems to be pretty impressed by it.
Yeah, no,
they're saying good things.
Yeah, no, absolutely, B. Yeah, absolutely. The feedback's been great. On that note, we also have Lee Hampton, the artist formerly known as Game Logic, or Hamp, as he's known now. What's up, Hamp?
What's going on, man? How you guys doing?
Doing well, man.
I'm great,
doing
man.
Well.
How are you?
All right. Had a little logistics problems tonight. I'm using my this is my MXL 770 mic, which is a really, really big, heavy condenser mic, and my mount that I was using was not enough to support it, so I had to get my tools out.
Oh man, I hear that, man. So you had to improvise, get some duct tape, kind of go MacGyver a little bit.
No, I had to find my tools to tighten up this the locking swing arm bolt on the hinge. Because it has a little knob that you're supposed to use to tighten it up, but that has since broken, so it doesn't let me actually get a grip on the bolt. So I had to find my pliers, which are never an easy thing for me to put my fingers on.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I hear you. Well, you missed the introduction, Hamp, but I did remind everyone that here at BRAP we are fair and balanced.
Did you put up the tipping the scales gif?
No, I did not. No, I did not. And look, if we don't sell wolf tickets here, and I'll just leave it at that. And that's why.
Ow!
That's why I'm blocked by a lot of people in the gaming in the Twitter spaces. As Eric Jackson mentioned it, yeah, he's like that's why 60% of the gaming Twitter's blocked you. So, hey. It is what it is, man. Truth is hard for people. Is a tough pill for people to swallow at times. So, but anyhow, yeah. So no. To B's point, I was talking about PlayStation VR 2. I was discussing some of the specs of the PlayStation VR 2, but it sounds like at least the feedback that everyone's been saying that the screen looks great. That some of the games that the one person who tried out The Verge was playing Resident Evil Village, I believe it was, and said that it was super immersive and it kind of freaked her out a little bit. But someone else said that they were when they played Resident Evil as well. I forget what website it was. I don't think it was IGN. I don't remember who it was, but they said that they were so immersed with Resident Evil Village, you were literally looking at the paintings on the wall. The game ran smoothly, looked good. We did see some VR games shown off at the State of Play, which we we're going to talk about here later on. But one of the most technically advanced games that The Verge mentioned was Horizon Call of the Mountain, which I think Sony showed that off at a previous State and Play, if I'm not mistaken. That is. But they're saying that they believe that that game in particular looks impressive because it's really specifically built from the ground up for the PlayStation VR 2. No surprise there, given that it's a first-party game, and they were saying that the sense of the scale in that game was pretty amazing, and watching the large dinosaurs or whatever was very impressive. And they said that the rock climbing and things like that were fun. So now I think per the Verge video, and I'm sorry I'm forgetting this. I wrote this down somewhere and I lost my notes. Or my kids stole them, one of the two. But they mentioned that this headset kind of was not on par, but was close to one of the HTC headsets that I think retails for $800. In terms of what they saw in terms of visual fidelity. So that's going to be interesting. What the PSVR 2 might come in as in terms of price. I've speculated, and I've thrown out my guess there that $400 would be kind of the launch price. Who knows? Maybe it's more, but I thought it was interesting that per the video, the Verge, they compare it to one of the HTC devices that's like $700. Made me think, well, wait a minute. Like, I wonder if Sony's going to coming a little bit cheaper, if it's in fact going to be more than $400. But anyhow, looks like the headset's going to release early 2023, and so I have my eyes on this particular headset because I did demo the PlayStation VR headset, but never bought one. I do have the Oculus Quest, and I don't use that enough, but I feel like I maybe might use the PlayStation VR 2 a little bit more, given some of the titles like Resident Evil and Horizon. So, any thoughts? B, I'll go to you, man. I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of the videos. What are your thoughts on PlayStation VR 2, man? We lose B. B's on mute. All right. Oh, there he is.
I'm back.
B? All right.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on PSVR 2, man?
I didn't get a chance. I think I watched one video, which was the Verge video.
Yep.
It looks really impressive. It's definitely a lot better than what I thought it was going to be, as far as what they've said about the actual unit. It seems that Horizon is actually going to be that marquee title. That title that kind of drives you out there to go out and get it. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. I used to have a PSVR, but I ended up trading it in a little while back because I just wasn't using it as much. Just too much stuff, the cords, the box, just became too much to deal with. When you got to pull it out and get it hooked up for when you got family over or whatever. So this seems like it's a little bit more streamlined. There's only one cord, a little bit more in depth, and I like the controllers. They're way better than just using a Move controller or their standard PS4 controller. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And in regards to the price, though, I don't think they would go much higher than 500. I think they initially probably want to stick around 400, but since they raised the price in some regions for PS5, I could see it, getting closer to the 500 mark. But I think their target would probably still be like right around 400.
So you think $400? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you just based on what I read about Horizon Call of the Mountain. That's gonna be the showpiece right there for the PSVR 2. The one thing that was kind of interesting about the Verge video, where she was talking about how immersed she felt, especially playing Resident Evil Village. They actually have a clip of her where she's kind of like, not like freaking out, but she's like, holy, like you could tell she was like, whoa, like the zombies were all in my face. Like it was intense.
Oh, yeah,
Is
that when they took her out of the headset.
Yeah, right. You saw that.
Yeah,
she's yeah, she's like, yeah, it was pretty immersive. And then they cut to like a scene where she's like kind of like breathing heavily, I think. And they took the heads off her. It was intense. But that's what VR to me, what VR kind of that kind of experience, you don't get from playing console. Like I remember playing the Darth Vader game. What is it? Darth Vader Immortal? Is that the an Oculus Quest 2? I forget that.
I think that's the name of it.
I remember playing that, and I remember seeing Darth Vader for the first time. And I'm like, holy shit. First of all, he's tall, he's big, he's an imposing figure in the game. But you see him, and it's like, and I was like geeking out. I'm like, wow, like I have met Darth Vader now in person. Like that's what it felt like. And I also remember when I fired up the game the first time, and I'm in a ship, and this is before the Empire boards your ship. I remember walking around the ship, and I'm like, this is freaking crazy. I'm in the ship, the cabin of the ship, and I'm walking around. So, VR is it's a cool experience. The problem that I've had with VR, there just hasn't been enough content to keep me going back to it. It's been more of experiences than I think than actual, I guess, I don't know. I guess more experience than gaming, I guess. I don't know if that's, but anyhow. But I'm excited for PSVR 2. Logic, man, what are your thoughts? Are you interested in PSVR 2 at all, or
no, not at all?
No.
Nope. Zero. Nilch.
Okay.
Nada.
Nada.
I mean, so I went big on VR for a couple of years. We did a VR podcast. I wrote lots of articles about VR. I have 3 VR headsets now sitting in my utility room because a couple months ago I broke them down for the last time and took them out of here because I was tired of them taking up space. And I have relatively high. Like I have a Rift S. I have an HTC Vive. And then I have a Windows mixed reality headset by Acer. And obviously, right, the PC GPUs, right, to really drive them for those experiences. But what you mentioned, right, like right now, I don't know if we're waiting on software or hardware to finish. I don't know what the price is going to be because what's obviously going to be really expensive is those lenses. But the content, so if we're waiting on software, that means it's taken them at least the 2 years of this generation, right? Plus whatever time they actually started on it before the generation started to get Horizon ready. And even if they hadn't, right, we only have about 5 years left in this generation. And at best, I would expect, a VR AAA experience like Horizon at best once a year for the remainder of the generation. And I just don't feel that's enough. And then on top of that, with it sitting on PlayStation, the types of VR experiences that I like, which are flight sims, on PC, there's a whatever the next generation successor to the Harrier is that the Canadian Air Force flies. There's a VR simulator that doesn't use controls. It just uses the Oculus handset for you to simulate the controls as if you're pulling up on the cyclic and pulling back on the stick. Games like that, and then the guys who did Descent 3 did kind of a spiritual successor to that game that plays in VR, whatever the company is that does Digital Combat Simulator and other things like that. So lots of racing games and simulators and stuff is what I tend to prefer in VR, and I don't expect a ton of those to come to PlayStation. So
gotcha. Yeah.
Without the content that I want, or just the content that would, make me come off the bench to go play it, being there in high quantity, I just don't see myself going way out of my way. Not when I have, PlayStation 5, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck, PC. I have plenty of other stuff to play without that. That just kind of would be so much in the noise for me as to be a distraction.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. No, that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now with Oculus Quest 2 anyways. So, but no, I hear you, man. But, FOMO's going to kick in for me, and I'm going to shell out the dollars for this, and...
But why would you do that when you could buy a 4000 series GPU?
Oh, man, I knew you were going to say that.
Right. Or better yet, a 4000 GPU like in a PC and make that PC that you have, right, your streaming PC or your backup gaming PC.
I'm not listening to you right now. I'm tuning out the noise right now.
And you're still down a Steam Deck, right? So
oh, God, yeah.
I feel like you have enough other options in your queue.
Oh, my goodness. All right.
Seriously, I mean, right, for you to buy a PSVR, how often do you think you're going to play it? A PSVR 2.
I don't know. I mean, obviously it depends on, how much content they release, if the content interests me. But, it's I think part of it's because, I have the Oculus Quest 2 and that's the technology isn't going to be as good, I think, as the PSVR 2. And to me, this is kind of a step up, but,
it is. I just feel the content that's going to be there is, I mean, for all VR headsets, I'm not just, talking smack about the PSVR 2. It's just for all of them, it's at the novelty level. It's not at the,
That's exactly what I was trying to explain. I was trying to figure out how to best explain, but no, I would agree with you. Like, even like Vader Immortal, which I loved, was an experience. Like, it wasn't it lasted for a little bit and that was it. And I feel like that's kind of been VR. Like, you get little morsels of experiences and that's it. And, I've used the Quest to watch like Netflix, which is kind of cool. I've done that. You know, but that's kind of it, you know.
Yeah, it's the Nintendo Wii of 2022. It's really cool to break out when people come over. It's fun to put grandma in the headset, right? But beyond that, it's not, you know.
Yeah, like how my dad is like 74, throws it on. He's like, you know, like he's geeking out. He's like, whoa, you know, he did the space station thing, and I got motion sickness doing the space station simulation. Like when that was kind of interesting. I got a little motion sickness. So
right now, in case people in the chat are flipping out, or people listening to this flipping out, this is not me saying Sony's making a bad product or PlayStation doesn't have VR games. This is me saying no one has VR games in quantity sufficient to occupy a bunch of space on my game card, right? So much that I would move conventional games out of the way, right? So that I could make time to play, you know, VR.
Well, you know, again, here on BRAP, we are fair and balanced, so no one should even think that. But now,
if Xbox made a VR headset, right, I would make time for that.
Oh man! All right. So speaking of Xbox, by the way, this conversation's kind of been happening, going around as a result of, you know, the regulatory stuff, which we'll touch base here in a little bit too. There's been an update in the regulatory stuff in the UK with the CMA, but so there's been some conversation around, could COD survive being exclusive on the Xbox? Does it make sense for Microsoft to, because now, you know, I forget what is it 41% of people play COD on PlayStation? I forget. I'd have to look up the numbers again. But let's say, look, we know a lot of people play COD on PlayStation. B, I don't know if you know how many people play, the percentage, or you, Logic, but a lot of people play COD on PlayStation, have been for quite some time. I think, okay, Capone's saying 48% of sales are on PlayStation. Okay, I'd have to double check. Now, Jeppy Gaming saying 60% on COD play on PlayStation. All right, I'm just gonna go with a lot. A lot of people play COD on PlayStation. Microsoft now has to fund develop this game if the deal goes through. I've always said, I've always thought that multiplayer games live and die on their communities. Does it make sense for Microsoft to make this game exclusive? And I'll go to you, B, man. What do you think, man?
I don't know if it technically makes sense for them to make it exclusive, but if I'm PlayStation, I'm telling them to kick rocks. Like, we don't want your game over here.
Oh,
you spent $70 billion acquiring this publisher. You're not gonna eat off of us. So take your $70 billion, take your franchises, go over there, put them in Game Pass. Eight developers that make Call of Duty every year. Go ahead and pay them, and you figure it out. I don't know if it makes sense for Microsoft to make it exclusive, but if I'm PlayStation, you can get out my face.
So you're saying, you know what, the hell with you guys. We don't need COD. We'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, like, at this point, I wouldn't argue about it. Like, okay, but once the deal is done, they Call of Duty and go figure it out. You have this master plan of how you're going to get all these people on your platform. Okay, go do it. Yeah, there's going to be some people to go over there. You know, Call of Duty has a large following. So some people go over there, but guess what? Paying a subscription to play the game. And some people will just, you know, continue to pay for the game on Xbox. But I tell them, hey, y'all got this master plan? I'll make it work. We're good over here.
Yeah, no, I mean, I I hear you. That is an aggressive point of view, B Money. I don't think
you got to think.
Yeah,
they just signed Bungie to a Sony deal where Bungie isn't taking their games away from anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what they wanted in the deal. Only signed off on it.
Mm-hmm.
So Bungie is gonna eat everywhere. PlayStation, Xbox, PC, mobile. You know what I mean? Like they gonna eat. Bungie has been a storied uh, developer for a very long time. They made Halo what Halo was. They went off, made Destiny to what it is today. Millions of people play Destiny all the time. They're working on another IP. So if I got Bungie under my wing, one of the biggest, you know, developers in the shooter space under my wing, I'm telling you, hey, take a Call of Duty and go fly a kite. I got Bungie over here. I've doubled down on investments in my first party. We cooking up over here, so y'all go figure it out. We'll figure it out. We'll see who comes out on top.
Okay. Fair, I mean, that's fair enough. I'm trying to, as you were talking, I was trying to figure out how many people actually play Call of Duty on PlayStation, and I haven't been able to pull up on the Google search for some reason. I know there were some different numbers out there, the live chat that people put in the live chat, so I don't know what the exact numbers are, but no, I hear you, B. I mean, they do have what is it, like 12 live service games in development. They do have Bungie, which is multi-plat. Also, they're
Plus, they're invested in Epic, so it ain't like they just out here losing money. How much does a skin cost on Fortnite?
Oh man, you could buy the packs for like, I don't know, I forget. You probably spend like $30,
$50 packs on there.
Yeah, you could spend like $30 on V coins, and then spend some of that on a skin pack. Yeah.
Yeah. So every time somebody buys a skin on Fortnite, PlayStation eats. So as
they
long
get
as
a little,
Fortnite,
they get a little piece of the action because what's their investment in Epic again? 10% or something?
they just upped it. I think it's like 15% now or something like that. I'm crazy. So I mean, they eating off of that. You know what I mean? They signed all these licensing deals to put their characters in Fortnite. I mean, so they eating. They'll continue to bring in revenue other ways. You know what I mean? Like, yes, COD will be a major hit. Would it be a bigger hit to Microsoft than to take on all those employees, pay all those employees to release a game that just lost 40% of its player base? So you got people who are paying $70 for the game every year. 40% of that is gone. Now you're taking a game in-house and you're putting it in Game Pass, where you got 25 million people that have access to Game Pass as it is today.
So real quick, B, just to you mentioned the percentages here. Okay, so here's the sales on thinking component, by the way, for that tip. He's like, look up sales. I'm like, oh yeah, shit, no shit, right? All right, so according to Activision, COD sold 41% of its sales were on PlayStation 5, 29% on PS4. Xbox One 19%, and Xbox Series X and S 11%. So the majority of
so you're telling me they got 70%, almost 70 or 60%? What was that, 70%? You said 41 and 29?
Yeah. So yeah, 70 almost. They have 70%. So yeah.
So you're gonna cut off 70% of your player base to go put your game in a service where 25 million people already have access to it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Good luck.
But B, I would counter that. Like, Sony doesn't want to lose that money either, though, because they make money off the microtransactions and the store. They make money when 30%. They get that they're going to lose that cut.
Okay, so they'll make some games where they make 100%. So you could take it 30. That's cool. They sell 25 million a year. That's great. We'll make, we got 12 games in development. As long as 2 of them hit, we good.
Yeah, but that's also a big if though, B buddy. Like, we know that that's a big if.
Exactly, but you got to bet on you got to bet on yourself. Mm-hmm. I bet on myself before I bet on anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But good luck. If you think COD is going to be what it is today in 10 years, okay.
Well, that's the other thing. Like, that this is all assuming that COD is, COD what it is 10 years from now, or whatever the case
Right.
is. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But you bring up an interesting point because not a lot of people talk about. By the way, 70% in sales. I mean, that's a lot in favor of PlayStation for that franchise. The point that I find interesting is that you brought up, and I haven't heard a lot of people bring this up. Development costs, but labor.
Right.
All the people they have to pay in those studios. I mean, that money doesn't grow in trees. I mean, obviously we know Microsoft has deep pockets, and they're willing to be a loss leader. But do they want to do that with Activision, having spent $70 billion to acquire it? So I'm sorry. Go ahead, B. I think you were going to chime in, man. Let me cut you off.
No, you got it. I mean, to me, it doesn't make sense for Microsoft to do it just because you're spending $70 billion. Like you said, they can take on a loss if they absolutely had to. And, there's this big back and forth about, well, it was being nice because he gave him 3 years or he gave him 3 extra years and all this other shit. Just like, all right, well, I don't need none of your years. Go figure it out. That's where I'm at with it. You know what I mean? So I know it's not the popular opinion. Everybody wants to have Call of Duty everywhere, But it's like, all right, well, if I spend $70 billion, the game's coming to my house. You know what I mean? Like, we ain't sharing nothing.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think you, B, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you and I believe you too, Game Logic, or kind of like have expressed that let them compete.
Right.
Take the game off the Sony platform and see what Sony does. Make them compete.
Yeah, because all it's going to do is, that's a punch to the gut for PlayStation. Yeah, they're losing a big portion of their revenue that they receive every year because that game releases every year. So it's like, all right, well, what are you going to do? You think the board members are going to sit there and just, be happy with not, having that revenue come in every year? They got to figure it out. And no, you might not have, one game that replaces Call of Duty, but you can have 3 games or 4 games that bringing that same revenue. We already see that they're changing the way that they are going to release their games. See that they're, actually going to focus on having games for mobile. We see the PC push, we see the VR push. Like they are trying to expand their brand bigger, and as big as it could possibly be. You know what I mean? This is the biggest push that we've seen from PlayStation in a very long time, and actually be serious about it. You know what I mean? So they have a great opportunity to take the gut punch, go back to the corner, get bandaged up, and come back out swinging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. I mean,
there's no, the worst person to fight? Somebody that's scared.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst person to fight.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? They gonna give you everything they got.
Yeah.
So everybody's saying, Sony's scared. They're worried about losing the money. You got to take the gut punch, and then, hey, you come out of that corner, you ready to fight. You ready to swing.
Mm-hmm.
Got to swing back. They've been throwing punches for 2 generations, 3 generations now.
Yeah.
Remember I told y'all last gen, I was like, yo, Microsoft ain't ready. I told y'all this gen, yo, they out the corner. It's a good fight now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is a championship bout.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
Microsoft
going at it. Yeah. So now Microsoft is ready, and they're ready to actually throw punches. You know what I mean? And actually be in a fight. Now Sony got to respond.
Yeah.
You can't always be the bully and then not expect somebody daddy or somebody mama to pull up.
Yeah.
Hey, Satya pulled up, dropped the bag, and guess what? You ain't bullying my son no more.
Yeah. It's like Logic said the Sony had poked the bear too many times. I think you said that, Logic, if I'm not mistaken, but no.
Yeah, and I didn't mean that like they deliberately or maliciously poked the bear, but I mean they stacked up wins, right? And I mean just like a football rivalry, even though I have constantly told people not to compare these things to sports. Just like a football rivalry, right? If the the football team formerly known as the Redskins, right, beat the Cowboys several times in a row, then at some point you have a game where there's a lot of spirit, right, where the Cowboys, as B Money said, come out fighting. So, they kept doing what they did and kept doing what they did, and finally, right, once Phil got promoted and was reporting directly to Satya, I'm sure the two of them had a talk, and I'm sure at some point in that conversation, it was, why are we doing this and like fighting with one arm behind our back? We have a $3 trillion company behind us. Why are we not putting that strength to use?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a great point. That's a great point, Hamp. Real quick, Hamp, I want to get your take on this, but I want to introduce Mr. Gaming Forte.
Yo, what is
Brother
up?
Forte, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Long time no see. What's going
Yes,
on?
sir. Yes, sir. What's happening, man?
No, Phoenix rising from the ashes, man. Tired, overworked.
Forte, you've been working a lot, bro.
Oh, dude.
I know this.
Oh, yeah. Well, tomorrow will be my first day. Well, my second day off since August 21st.
I remember you saying last Thursday was your first day off. Thursday.
Last Thursday was my first day off since August 21st. This will be my second day off. So I'll get back to some normalcy starting after next week. So one more week of this heck.
Yeah.
And I'll be good again. So
no doubt.
It's good to see you guys, though. Nice conversation y'all guys are up here having. I have to agree 100% with B Money. I love that energy. That energy is beautiful. I missed it.
No doubt. Forte, I want to get your thoughts on this too, but I want to go to Game
ahead.
Logic real quick. So Logic, what do you think, man? Like, no,
that's Lee Hampton.
I'm sorry, it's Hamp, Lee Hampton now.
I still need to know the story behind this because I'm out of the loop. But go ahead.
Oh, that's all Slimmo, man. That's all Slimmo.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so Hamp, or Hamp. I can't call him Lee Hampton. Hamp. What do you think? Do you agree with B? Should they be like, hey, you know what, the hell with it? Kick rocks. We'll do our own thing. Have fun losing 70% of whatever the base or whatever, Like, what are your thoughts, man?
So as usual, the answer is really complicated. So from a business perspective, yes, I do agree with B. My career is littered with the number of times that I have walked into somebody's office and spewed fire and brimstone and basically said, look, I'm not begging them, right, for the stuff that we need. We need to just build our own. And sometimes I've won that fight, and sometimes I've been told to get the hell out of the office. But that has always been my spirit and intent, right? Like I'm not tying and tethering myself to a dependency. And while that dependency might be painful, right, to go through, I am always of the business mind that, look, I'd rather rip the Band-Aid off and endure the pain now, and it will pay dividends in the future. So in spirit, I agree with B Money. From a business perspective, that might be their long game, but I don't think that they can afford to do that now. I think they need to take the 3 years that's mandated. All 12 of those live service games aren't going to necessarily be successful, but without question, they're not all coming out next year. So I think they need some time to kind of get their camp in order before they pull that. I also want to say, while the shift of Call of Duty, entirely exclusive would be significant, I don't know that it's exactly equivalent to the numbers we've called out here, right? Because number one is the long game of Call of Duty, while the sales are important, the long game is the microtransactions. And so I don't know that the sales numbers necessarily equate, right, percentage breakdown wise, commensurately across each platform by microtransactions. The other thing is that the percentages are different when you look at the paid version of Call of Duty versus Warzone, and we all know that the moneymaker is Warzone. So I think there are just some deltas in there that we can't explicitly account for, which might make things different. And as I mentioned in the chat, I think that at the end of the day, to me, I think it's at least worthwhile entertaining the notion that, whether or not COD goes exclusive from Microsoft's perspective is a matter of is a matter of whether or not Sony is going to back off of the microtransaction revenue share that they require for crossplay, because that would definitely be a business thing, right, on the Microsoft side, that I would be like, I'm not having any of that, right? Even though there may be arrangements where they're doing that for other franchises and other titles, as B Money said, I don't know that I'm willing to A, share that revenue, but B, more importantly, share all the required financial data when I know very damn well that Sony is in the background doing a big wind up for IP that is going to come out and compete directly against Call of Duty.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And we don't know the breakdown, like you said, of microtransactions per console. What we do know is that microtransactions are up. Looks like on the Black Ops Cold War, which is hold on a sec here. Hold on.
Hey, that's Call of Duty from 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's Call of Duty from last year. But anyhow, they were up like 50% last year. Microtransactions were, and last year they were Activision was reporting about 1.3 billion for microtransactions in Q4. And in 2020 they're reporting 4.85 billion for microtransactions. God, that's a fucking lot of money.
And I'll add, so we know that's going to go up, right? But there's also, right, the notion that the whole commercial model of COD could change, right? And if it becomes a continuously living game and it's available only by subscription, and the notion of annual titles really kind of goes away, then it becomes subscription only, right? And then what could happen is, if you're on Game Pass, your subscription to Call of Duty, right, as a single title is covered, right? But if you're on PlayStation, maybe you have to pay, right, an additional amount or whatever for that. So, that commercial model could change where it makes things like the unit sales less relevant. But the other thing is that, right, they're going to gain cost efficiencies over time as Call of Duty moves to Microsoft, which may dampen the impact of them onboarding. I wouldn't so much necessarily be worried about the onboarding of the employees. Let's just say for the sake of argument that's going to be a wash, right? But for instance, things could tip the balance a little negatively in Microsoft's favor as far as onboarding that additional cost, in terms of, if Microsoft employee benefits are better than Activision's, which I firmly believe I mean, I've seen Microsoft employee benefits. I'm pretty certain that they're significantly better than Activision. Activision also employs, we know, a lot of contract labor, right, to get Call of Duty out the door. And then and I don't know necessarily. I mean, there's so much of a support studio structure around Call of Duty that like I said, some of that's going to be contract labor, right? Not necessarily. Not necessarily FTEs that Microsoft has to bear the cost for, but most importantly, I'm going to assume that over time, Call of Duty servers, which right now sit on AWS, are going to migrate to Azure, right? And that apparent cost to Activision as a business unit, right, as a profit and loss center, is gonna go away, or be significantly reduced as an internal transactional cost for Microsoft. So those things over time, I think, will even out, but we'll have to see how it unfolds.
Yeah, and by the way, I pulled up some more recent numbers. Despite its lowest player count in years, Activision Blizzard still raked in 1.2 billion from microtransactions between Warzone and Vanguard. So that was So that's still a lot of money. I'm gonna go to Forte, but I want to get this super chat by Victor Alstein with the $5 super chat. Thank you for that, Victor. Appreciate it. It says, Big Money, great take. Going full. You're either in or out. No lackadaisical or neutral attitude. Everyone wants a good fight, not a one-sided one. So thank you for that super chat, Victor. So Victor seems to agree with you 110% there, Big Money. Yep.
And I want to add one alibi, sorry. The other notion is, this is a sad thing to say and a sad reality, right? But there's also, I think it's highly, highly unlikely that all of those Activision employees, right, are going to move over, right? That that's somewhere in the triage between looking at redundancies across the two organizations.
Just about to say that redundancies, yeah.
Yeah, that some Activision employees are going to go away. I'm sure they have, for instance, like their own cloud engineers, right? And so I don't know that those people are going to be needed. The other thing to consider is if, I've talked before about how, Microsoft and PC games, right, use DirectX as their bundle of APIs that they use to address hardware through an abstraction layer. PlayStation uses something different. I believe, as Deli mentioned, it's like a variant of OpenGL, but it's an in-house proprietary thing for Sony. If I stop doing, right, a PlayStation version, I don't know that I need all those developers and all that, right, manpower that goes along with getting that version out the door. And so that could also be the source of a staff reduction.
Yeah, that's a great point. I'm going to go to Forte. Forte, man, what are your thoughts, sir?
Man, there's a lot, like you said, a lot to unpack here. I kind of want to split the middle between Hemp and B Money because I think for the most part, sales really, you got these sales, do they matter right now to an extent? But you also got to think about where Call of Duty has been. Like we're talking about this franchise had games that sold upwards of 30 to 40 million copies at a certain point. And this is when it was at its dominance, when Microsoft was at the helm of doing all of the marketing deals. And they were the, even though they weren't the overall leader in sales and everything when it came to like PlayStation 3 and 360, it was like a lot even. They were above heads and shoulders, the place to play Call of Duty at. And that's when they were selling 30 to 40 million games per year. So I think sales now is just like we said, this is like the worst time to lose the battle of the digital age and stuff because people have their libraries and stuff. People are kind of synced in with their libraries at this point. It's also kind of the part of the conversation where you really don't want to lose that extra revenue where it comes to microtransactions and stuff, because I think that's the biggest thing that they would kind of be missing out on. I think the sales can be fixed in other ways by like bringing out other games, bringing your games to PC faster. There's anecdotal ways that they can make up that extra money that they're losing by not having something like Call of Duty being an annual franchise on their system, which is like 20 to 25 million copies sold or whatever number we want to kind of throw out there. They can fix that. But when it comes to like those ancillary sales, like microtransactions, like you talked about earlier with Fortnite, that's a $20 skin that they're making like 30% on, if not a little bit more, because they have a little bit of a backside with Epic on, in their type of ownership and everything. So I just think that whatever Microsoft wants to do with it is perfectly in their right, but I think the whole, let it sit. They're going to honor the 3 years. Well, not the 3 years. They're going to honor the rest of the contract. And I also think Microsoft just wants to take a wait and see approach to see exactly how this is going to play out over the course of that extra time that they're supposedly giving, PlayStation in order to like have that on their system and stuff. Because it's not a disclaimer to say that they never pull it off that system. Now, if I'm like what B Money was saying, I'm like, yo, I don't even like, listen, if you don't want to be here, if you don't want to 100% commit to it, and why would Microsoft want to 100% commit to it? Because they don't know what the future is going to hold for it. They may be able to do some stuff on the background, like you said, to make up a lot of costs, depending on how sales and stuff go. They don't want to be anchored into an agreement that they don't want to be in. But PlayStation is like, well, right now we're the market leader. We hold 60 to 70% of revenue that passes through Call of Duty, depending on what numbers you look at. So I understand why they're going there for the way that they're going. I just feel like this is a tug of war for basically mind share of what people are thinking right now, because what people think right now is not going to be what's going to be going on in the future. I just think that what we see Call of Duty now, and this is also talking about Call of Duty still being an annual franchise. the first thing that came out of this whole thing is Call of Duty, is it still going to be annualized? Is it going to be, are they going to do offshoots where they say we're going to do it every other year? Is Warzone going to be the thing that just persists throughout the years and they just get consistent updates on the maps and stuff like that? Are we just talking about the box product of Call of Duty or the digital project Call of Duty that's going to be released yearly on PlayStation? What kind of conversation? That's the kind of conversation I think everybody kind of needs to have, because I think the sales they do matter, but they don't matter as much as the spending of people on a day-to-day basis. Like, people spend, I guarantee you, people probably spend more money on a consistent basis, on a month-to-month basis, than the one purchase they made when it comes to that Call of Duty game over the course of that year. You see it in games like Grand Theft Auto. You see it in games like NBA 2K. Like 2K, like, you got to think, what is it? Okay, PlayStation sells $100 copy. Well, let's go even higher. B-Money, you already know where I'm going. They selling championship editions out here with League Pass.
Right.
I got mine too. For $150, PlayStation is making 30% of that. But guess what? I guarantee you they made more money off that one person that's bought League Pass. They made more money off that person that went into the park and probably spent another $200 on microtransactions to get their character up inside of the park. So, excuse me. So people think about the sale of the game being the end, where I'm looking at it like, that's kind of just the beginning. And a lot of these people are spending way more money than they actually are making off of that one purchase of that game that they're doing.
Yeah, and that's why I think it's one and the same. Because, like, these games, you have to purchase the game, and to get the microtransaction, you have to purchase the game. So, of course, you're gonna have people who purchase the game, and there won't be any microtransactions that they purchase after that. They just spent their $60 or $70 or $100 or whatever, and that was it. But then you have the people who purchased the game, they spent their $150 and they got home and they went and bought VC, and they spent another $300 on VC, just to up their player and to get my team, open up my team packs. You know what I mean? So, like, it's one and the same. I don't want people to think, like, just because, like, sales don't matter, because without the sale, the microtransaction can't happen.
It doesn't happen, right?
So what I was saying when I brought up that difference is just that there may be data that we don't know and that we can't see that might make a difference, right, in how that formula lays out, right? Meaning,
right.
If there's if there's a higher percentage, like a Warzone player, like I might have a hypothesis that, like, every Warzone player pays some money, right? And that might make a difference in what the optics are about whether or not you take it and go exclusive. Where if the other side of that coin is 60% of people who buy the standalone game, right, spend some money. Right. That means, I may be generating more revenue overall. I mean, we know Warzone generates more revenue overall. So it may be a thing where, taking it exclusive may not be as big a deal for the single, right, unit sale game, right, but might have more impact on Warzone. And again, they could mix this formula up. They could take the annual installments, right, which we just theorized might not even remain annual, right, and take those exclusive and still put, right, Warzone, right, on both platforms.
Hey, guess what? And then I'm just like B-Money. I'm like, you can keep all of it. If you I understand. I feel like that's what Microsoft probably will end up doing. I think just like ESO Online, just like Minecraft and stuff like that. I think just like Fallout 76, games that have persist and they live and breathe on that online ecosystem, I think that's what's going to stay. But if I'm honest, if I go off with B-Money was saying, I'm like, wait, so you want to take away the one, because that's the idea. Because people, as much as people look at Call of Duty and they say it's an annual franchise, they look at it still as something that they purchase. Now, some people will say that, oh, I just download Call of Duty every day and I don't even play the the single player. I just play multiplayer. But there's a lot of people that still play that base multiplayer that has nothing to do with the thing. And I think some people still to this day think you have to buy the new Call of Duty to get access to Warzone. So until I think that kind of thought process gets changed, I don't think PlayStation even wants to even dabble in that, because I think it's so many people that still are tied to that purchase mentality to get what's new for Call of Duty. But if they did that, I would literally think just like B Money did. I would be like, oh, well, you can have all of it. Because at that point, the mind share, you don't have marketing. And all the mind share is going to be with your competitor. Because they can pretty much market the game the way that they want to market, and it's going to be inside of their games as a service. So at that point, I'm like, well, you say you want this to work. Let's see you make it work, because while you're making that work, we're over here, still making, our money in different ways, and we're still trying to build an ecosystem that could kind of rival what you're doing already with Call of Duty. Will it hurt at the beginning? Absolutely, because nothing I think can replace the revenue you lose from that. But I also think at a certain point, you kind of got to just stand up and say, I'm not about to allow them to dictate how my platform is ran on the things that they want, because I think that ultimately is what Microsoft is going to try to do when this deal is over, or when they go back to the negotiation table after 2 to 3 years. Let's say this 2 to 3 year thing does happen. Microsoft probably is going to want to keep it over there, but what kind of negotiation tactics are they going to use to keep it there? At that point, I think they're going to look at it like, okay, you want way too much from us for what you're giving us back in return. So I think there's a lot of things that play with that still.
I'm not going to let you run my business from over there. I mean, and that's just kind of where I'm at with it. Because I think that's what it's going to boil down to. You know what I mean? Microsoft's going to have the leverage at the end of the day. It's going to be their property. You know what I mean? They can control, the game being put on another platform. So they control the microtransactions and the revenue that Sony would gain. And if they start asking for too much, it's like, all right, well, go ahead. Take that shit over there and y'all figure it out.
Yeah, and I still want to give that same energy to Xbox too, right? Like it's not a gentlemanly conversation, right? When the conversation is, we want you to keep COD right over here, but Phil, I'm gonna have my hands in your pockets all the time, right? Getting my revenue share. So, so I think it's a downside to both of these companies, I think, when they're looking at it. The one thing I did want to add though too is, another thing that I agree very strongly with B Money on is about, the PlayStation that we're seeing now. Alleviates a lot of my fears and concerns that I had about PlayStation. And I love seeing it, right? Because it is similar to the PlayStation that we saw 2 generations ago, right? During the PlayStation 3. Like for all the people running around saying that PlayStation is scared, which I think is a bit of a hyperbolic term. I think people run businesses and you just deal with adversity and change, just like software development. You don't go home scared, getting ulcers and crying in your Wheaties. Not by the time you're a sinking C-level officer. So, but the last time, right, they were kind of looking at these cards on the table, right? We got Uncharted, Resistance: Fall of Man, Infamous. We got all of these, The Last of Us. We got all, Heavy Rain, right? And the deals with Quantic Dream, right? We got all of these kind of, I would argue to a certain extent, like groundbreaking franchises that, you look at PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, and there was content there, but at least from my experience and the way I looked at it, I never felt it was at the kind of epic scale that some of those franchises like went to from a story perspective. Scales of stories that kind of really seeded themselves right in the culture. And we really really stick with us, right, from a memory perspective. I remember playing games on PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, but like those stories don't really stick with me. Now, granted, I'm old. You could say that that's because of my age, but I would say
I'm gonna go with age for 20, Alex.
I'm gonna say it was a matter of impact. Like there were lots of exclusives on PlayStation and PlayStation 2, but I just don't feel that they were they weren't the summer blockbuster movie, right, in terms of scale. And some of that was limited by technology, yeah, but I think a lot of it was also, driven by, hey, Xbox 360 has a 1-year head start. Then we kind of stubbed our toe on the launch with all this, BS about people will get a second job to buy our console. And then when they saw the sales numbers and saw that no, people were not getting a second job, they were like, hey, we gotta turn this ship around and do some things. And Kaz got on his white horse, and we have the franchises, right, that we have that have kind of carried that platform across the 2 generations thereafter. So, adversity and good competition, but hopefully great things will come of it.
Yeah, I just I want to adjust something in the live chat. Somebody is talking without Diddy. No, Albert G, that's not correct, sir. What you just said. But yeah, look, gentlemen, I do want to transition to another topic. But no, I appreciate everyone's perspective on this as well. But I do want to transition because there's 2 other topics that I want to get to after this one.
There's more topics?
Oh yeah, there's more topics, man.
I guess before you move, I guess the last thing I will say about that last thing was I think people keep forgetting that Call of Duty, or not even just Call of Duty. I had a person that walked into the store today and he picked up Madden and he picked up NBA. And he was like, I wanted to put my pre-order down for Call of Duty because he wanted to get the beta. And then it was him and it was 2 other people with him, and they did the same exact thing. Picked up NBA, picked up Call of Duty.
And that's all they'll buy this year.
And that's all and guess what they did? They all did it on Xbox because they said, well, I was on PlayStation last generation. It looks like Microsoft's going to end up getting this marketing stuff with Xbox, so I might as well get over and start switching over now. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, I said, were you always on PlayStation? He was like, yeah, I've been on PlayStation ever since it went over to PlayStation in 2013. And that was the one thing I always told, because if you look at those numbers in 2013, like people talk about how horrendous Xbox was coming out of the gate in 2013, but they forget to realize that the sales numbers between both systems, even though PlayStation was definitely doing better, they had sold 4.1 million over that first year. Like over that first holiday, and Xbox sold 2.4, but Xbox still had that marketing deal, and that was keeping them up. And then what happened that next year after Call of Duty Ghosts and PlayStation flipped that marketing deal, and then all of a sudden you saw that number balloon. And then what you started seeing was the catastrophic effect of people that only buy those 3 games. So if they buy Call of Duty, where do you think they're going to buy Madden at? Where do you think they're going to buy NBA at? And then you're talking about 3 of probably the top 4 games that sell every year outside of Grand Theft Auto. And Grand Theft Auto has always sold better on PlayStation because it was kind of synonymous with PlayStation. So you're looking at 4 of the top 5 games that sell every year having some type of marketing deal or exclusive content that's going to be available on one platform. And you're going to see that number jump like crazy. And we do talk about, like, exclusives do sell a platform, but when you have the corner market when it comes to the casual base, which is what happened at the beginning of the last generation, that is what that's the number that you really got to pay attention to. Because I tell people, you got to look at when when Call of Duty, Madden, and NBA decide to say we're going next gen only. That's truly when the next gen starts for people buying those next gen systems. Like right now, we think a lot of people are trying to find systems now. Wait till you see the next Call of Duty say we're only next gen, and NBA saying we're only next gen. Then you're going to see you're going to see a huge surge in those next gen systems sale, especially if they're available at that time. And I think at that point, whoever has the greater share of whatever game we're talking about, let's just say Call of Duty is finally finalized and it's available on the Xbox platform, and you're getting exclusive stuff for Game Pass, whatever kind of deal they work their stuff out. That's when you'll start to see the actual benefit of what's going to happen to whatever platform. But I think people just need to pay attention to that a little bit more. And
I know BRAP is trying to move on. My last thing I'll add to that is, I mean, we just looked at the Warzone numbers, right? And the Warzone percentage numbers, right, are very small between PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, only separated by like a single digit, right, percentage.
Right.
And yeah, and just like Forte said, right, and this is the thing that I'm going to say that's going to hurt, right? And I'm not saying it to be hurtful. I'm just saying it to be realistic, right? There is a certain demographic of gamer that constitutes a percentage of the market for whom their console platform is just a dumb box. And they are not as wrapped around the axle about what platform they're on. They're concerned about getting to the game that they play, right? And that they play kind of as their job, right? Because it's their 2 or 3 titles, right? Just like we said, like NBA 2K, Madden, Call of Duty, and they're not as wrapped around the axle about what platform it's on. It's just what platform they identify that title with, and that's driven, as Forte said, right, largely by marketing.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, and that leads me into maybe what the CMA is concerned about. So that's actually oh, you know what? Actually, before I segue here, Hamp, guess who just gave us a super chat?
Oh, here we go.
The great, the one, the only, worldwide Boar Country.
Yes, Boar's in the house. $2 super chat. Says bots taking shooters. Xbox had a show today. Does he mean like shooters as in shots, like alcohol drinks? I'm not sure, but thank you for that super chat, Boar. So this kind of a little bit of a segue. So we have an update with regards to the CMA. That's the regulatory body for the United Kingdom. We know that Microsoft had to respond to their inquiry, I think, by September the 8th. Was it September the 8th? I don't remember. I think it was the 8th.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, September 8th.
Yeah. So Microsoft actually did not respond. So the UK CMA Competition and Markets Authority is what it's called, is now expected to launch an in-depth investigation this week after Microsoft decided not to offer any remedies at this stage, according to 2 individuals with knowledge of the situation. This is per Financial Times, actually, and they're going to face an in-depth probe in Brussels as well. I should also note, and we discussed this, Hamp, as well, because I've seen some really interesting takes from people on Twitter saying things like that the CMA is clearly favoring Sony, that there's bias here, that they aren't looking at this thing objectively. And I'm like, do some research, because a lot of the language that I've read from the CMA as relates to this particular matter is the same as what they're actually investigating with Amazon right now, which is, you can do a quick search. Amazon is under investigation as well over listing practices by the same regulatory body, the CMA. And if you read the body, or you read the language of what the CMA is looking at here with Amazon, very similar in that regard to what they're looking at with this Activision, with this Microsoft acquiring Activision. I can tell you that one of the things from the CMA was with regards to Amazon, again, very similar to the Activision deal, is with Amazon in particular, any loss of competition is a loss of consumers. It could lead to them paying more for products being offered lower quality items or having less choice. So again, we've heard those similar themes as we're hearing with this Amazon investigation by the CMA with the Microsoft acquisition acquisition of Activision. So and actually the CMA thing with Amazon is kind of interesting, because it talks about Amazon, they're actually investigating whether Amazon is using third-party data to give an unfair boost to its own retail business, and whether it favors sales or uses its logistics and delivery services, both of which they say could weaken competition. Now, the CMA actually, too, and I actually researched this, the CMA actually just needs to have a level of suspicion to investigate. So they don't even need what's the word I'm looking for? They don't even need like a... they don't even have to believe that this is in fact could hurt consumers, just a level of suspicion, and then they can open up investigations. So but anyhow, so back to the CMA here. So so again, early in the month, CMA mentioned that if Microsoft did, they gave Microsoft 5 days to come up with the with things to resolve some of the worries or faces that that they brought up as a result of Sony's what Sony had mentioned to the CMA, or they would go to a phase 2, but that phase 2 is actually happening. So So anyhow, so that's kind of that's where we are right now with the Activision deal with this and the CMA reviewing it. Again, a lot of this is happening because this is a very huge deal. And I should note the EU and in the UK they're a little more conservative with these mergers and acquisitions as compared to the FTC. And I think Hamp, you brought up some examples when we're talking about this behind the scenes of instances where the CMA has or the European Union has kind of ruled things differently here for companies like Google than the FTC has. So the Financial Times, per this article, also mentioned that one competition lawyer with the knowledge of the case said it was almost impossible for Microsoft to offer a remedy to the question the CMA posed within that 5-day period that would prevent the investigation moving to an in-depth antitrust probe. So that's kind of that's the update with the CMA. So I'm going to go with you first on this logic, kind of get your thoughts, because I know we talked about this a little bit before we went live. Thoughts on this, man, if you could share it with kind of what we discussed earlier.
Yeah, so I think one thing I would keep in mind, or that that immediately leapt to mind, is when this whole thing went down the first time, right? The number of days of notification that they had were very small. Again, single digits, right? Somewhere between 5 and 6 days, right?
Yeah,
to
5 days,
to get their stuff together. I'm not going to necessarily assume that it was like have it on my desk by close of business on the 8th, and even if it was, it's close of business their time, right? So they're a day ahead, right? Where we are in America, further ahead if you're on Pacific Coast time. So the amount of time to pull something like this together, get corporate concurrence on it, right, in the halls, have it reviewed, right, by the lawyers, by Phil, by Satya, and get it to them in time. Like, I can't even express to you the number of hours that people would have been putting in to make that happen within that shorter period of time. Those would have been some sleepless days. And so, again, that's just a measure of the adversity that Microsoft would have faced trying to pull this together. And then for it to have a relatively low percentage chance of being successful is what kind of drove them to their decision. I think there was a narrative running around today that, basically they were, Microsoft was playing at Bogart and kind of daring the CMA and staring them down and therefore couldn't be bothered to submit anything. I don't believe that that's accurate or, in any shadow of the truth. It's a matter of the sheer amount of work that it would have taken to pull this off. Whereas when phase 2 starts, they will have much more direct communications with the CMA and be able to ask questions and kind of be able to pull the thread a lot more so on exactly what it is the CMA is looking for. That Financial Times article also talked about kind of the unusualness of this particular deal, where it may not have been as easy as some of the other possibilities that we talked about, like when we talked about restructuring the deal, like saying, hey, we'll sell off this part but keep that part. Those are kind of more normal approaches, but in this case, nobody knows if that is the thing that's going to appease any of these regulatory bodies or if it's a matter of COD. And so, for you to offer to sell a piece off, right, may not mean anything if what they really want is for there to be some type of reciprocation or parity or licensing deal or commitment specifically around COD. So it's just a matter of, it made more sense to get into a period of time where there could be more direct communications than to take, a wag at it and try and put something across the pond that they would have gone for. Other things that came out in that financialtimes.com article was, like I said, there was no automatic going on to phase 2. The offer from the CMA was, hey, present evidence or an undertaking, or you will be extended to phase 2. So it was not the CMA saying you were definitively going to phase 2, leaving Microsoft no choice. It was a choice that was up to Microsoft.
Yeah, and actually, in that article, it also states that Microsoft opted not to offer any remedies to the CMA at this stage because there were no obvious commitments to the UK regulator would be likely to accept, according to people with knowledge of the situation. And yeah, no, so that's kind of from sources that have knowledge of the situation. But real quick, I do want to say something, Hamp. I've seen a lot of people compare. Look, and again, in terms of the practice of locking exclusives down, yes, Sony's done this. It's a time-honored tradition in the console space, in the gaming industry. I get that, but I'm seeing a lot of people compare this to like Forspoken. It's like, no, that's not even the same thing. The scope of this deal is much larger than locking a game down like Forspoken or Final Fantasy. I've seen people say that.
Right, and as has been the case of several conversations I've had this week with several employees, right? Everybody else is not under investigation, right? So we can say Sony's done this and Sony's done that, and the wild claims that Sony put studios out of business back in the whatever.
Oh yeah,
like,
I learned today. I learned this week that Sony's strategies are the reason the Panasonic 3DO, Panasonic stopped making the 3DO, and the reason why Sega stopped making consoles.
Right. So, and I'm not saying that all that's invalid, and I'm not acting flustered or by people bringing that up. Right. That's a complete perspective that people are entitled to have. What I'm saying is that Sony is not under investigation for their attempt to buy Activision in a $70 billion merger and acquisition. So maybe some of that's going to be taken into context, right? But this really isn't a game of, of the CMA or the FTC or the Brazilian Regulatory or Trade Commission, like New Zealand. None of these regulatory bodies are going, well, Sony, you did it to them, so Microsoft gets a pass, right? Again, what they're going to look at is and this is the big problem that I have with certain people who are labeled as lawyers on Twitter, and certain people who are writers for very big publishing outlets, right, who have brought into the discussion the conjecture that the CMA is unfair, the notion that they're protecting Sony. I guess that must mean, although those people make those claims, what they're leaving unspoken is that the CMA is on the take, that they've accepted a bribe, whatever types of things that I would think, somebody, licensed to practice law in a state would not kind of make as a willy-nilly accusation, because that obviously brings big penalties along with it. But my point is that all of these conjectures are oriented around the notion that they disagree with the CMA's findings. I have yet to see anyone present an argument that the CMA's findings are not in accordance with the law, are not in accordance with the regulations, with the commerce regulations of that country, right? Or the internet, or the national or international body that polices trade in that area, such as the EU, right? So my point is that I don't know that those things have the weight of relevance that some people may think that they have. I think what's relevant and what's being taken into consideration is what risk does the acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft present to the notion of competition and innovation and fair labor practices, right? In the trade areas that those regulatory commissions, right, exercise oversight over.
Yeah, no, and again that's very similar to minus the labor piece, but very similar to what I was reading with their case about Amazon in the UK. So again, it's about protecting consumers, giving customer choice, things like that, and making sure that there isn't any favoritism per se. Yeah, I mean that's and I agree with your point about some of the conjecture that I was seeing from media and certain people from a legal perspective, which that kind of surprised me a little bit. And I actually had someone say that to me too, that there's clear bias. I'm like, why? Because they mentioned Sony by name. But anyhow, B, I think you were going to chime in. I thought I heard you were going to chime in at some point.
No, you guys got it, man. I'm just ready for all this nonsense to be over with.
Me
To
too,
be
B.
totally honest. You know what I mean? Like it's going on for long enough. It's probably, we understand it's a very big purchase, but I'm tired of the back and forth. I'm tired of seeing people talk about stuff that they don't know what the hell they're talking about. Like at this point, I'm just ready for it to be over. Either let the sale go through, or put a halt to it. But let's just be done with it at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, B, and I hope it goes through because I don't want to see the meltdown on Twitter if it doesn't go
Oh
through.
no, that would be a glorious day.
Oh, come on! I don't wish that, B.
Do you not understand how many screenshots and recordings, screen grabs I would have of all the people crying? 'Cause that would be a glorious day.
Oh my goodness. I don't agree with Albert. I don't think the deal's not dead. I think it's going to go through. I think this is just part of the due diligence.
I think it's going to go through as well. I think it's inevitable. Which is great. Hopefully Microsoft cleans up all the nastiness that was going over at Activision and Blizzard, and they can kind of get back to being a better company. Hopefully releasing a few more products under Activision as well as Blizzard. So if they can turn it around, more props to them. But I'm ready for this nonsense to be over with.
Yeah, no, I agree, and we have many more months to deal with this too because it's still sitting in front of the FTC, it's the CMA. So this isn't in the EU, so this isn't over yet. So Forte, do you have any thoughts before we move to next topic?
No, this stupid. Who wants to talk about this? Like the most dumbest thing in the world. I don't get it. Listen, it's cool for people that want to be. I don't even know why you want to be this plugged in. I'm like at this point, I'm like just tired of hearing about it. But until the funny thing is, this is going to continue to be a conversation until somebody's name is at the top of a leisure page and it's all said and done. Until Microsoft owns this or they don't own it, we will continue to talk about this. I'm tired of talking about it because guess what? Doesn't do me no good. Doesn't do any of us any good. All it is a console fanboy thing at the very end of it. So I just wanted to be done so we can know exactly what's going to happen with these franchises and with the publisher going forward.
Mm-hmm.
Either they're going to own them or they're not going to own them. And we will know that within the next year. And that year cannot be over fast enough.
Yeah. No, I hear you, man. I hear you.
And I'm tired of the back and forth with these execs too. And I understand why it's happening. It's actually pretty fun. That's probably the most funnier part of it, just the executives going back and forth. And shout out to Tim Sweeney, because he's the one that started all this. So he made it fashionable for you to go on Twitter and say crazy stuff. So
Tim Sweeney
I don't blame anybody. I don't blame listen. When
Tim Sweeney went a little bit extra, man.
Listen, no, but when people were giving Jim Ryan the business about him, he cried because of this. Listen, I find it funny because what do you expect the man to do? You expect the man to just sit down and just take it? No, he gonna say what's on his mind because guess what? Tim Sweeney went out there as $1 billion corporation and said, screw the $4 billion corporation and we about to drug your name right through the mud and stuff. And he was saying stuff every day that was off the cuff. So I don't blame anything that comes from this. It's more interesting that the execs are you're starting to see that they're people just like everybody else. And I don't know why people thought they were different. They're not. They're just people in high regard with with a lot of responsibilities that that 99% of the rest of the world will never, ever, ever have to even indulge with. But it's funny in that regard. But outside of that, man, the rest of this could be done. I'm good.
Yeah. No, I hear you, Forte. I hear you. All right, so let's move on to the two shows that we had this week. The Nintendo Direct.
Thank God. Thank God. I thought you was going to talk about something else. Thank God. Okay, good.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was actually doing another COD segment. No, I'm joking.
Oh no, I ain't talking COD. I ain't talking about COD. I'm talking about the other thing.
No, I'm gonna save the best for last here. All right.
No, you're not gonna bring that up. Okay, but go ahead.
Yeah. What's that?
Don't bring that up.
Don't bring whatever.
What you said the best for last?
Yeah, I'm saving the best for last.
What's the best for last?
The two game shows.
Oh, okay. Okay, we can talk about that. Okay, we can talk
Yeah,
about games.
because let me tell you something. Yesterday was. Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Brap, I do want to just throw in one thing. Can I on the last topic?
Yeah, go ahead.
Last thing. Just also another thing to add into the mix, right? Because I think it's always important that we understand what's going on in the country as we talk about what's going on with games. Also, big elections coming up this fall, right? 435 seats for the House, 35 seats for the Senate. That may change the landscape, right, of what's going on in Washington, right, with regards to big tech. And how this M&A is being handled. So just throwing that out there as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that is a good point. So, all right, so let's get to yesterday was actually I thought an awesome day. I was really excited. So look, I think 2023 is going to be great for all platforms, all three platforms, all four platforms actually. I throw PC in there, PC being the superior of all the platforms, but that's another conversation.
Only one platform that's going to have a great year next year, and it's called Switch.
All right, we're gonna get into that now.
They already won Game of the Year for next year.
You know what, Forte, I might not disagree with you, man. Nintendo's Direct was actually really it was the best Direct that I can recall in recent memory. They had I
agree with that.
They had some real. I gave them a B+. They showed off. Look, let me go down the list of games they showed off. First of all, they saved the best for last. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
I love the name.
B two Forte. Breath of the Wild 2 would have been like, but yes, this is Forte. This is I cannot wait to play this game. It comes out May 12th next year. Oh man,
you know it.
Let me tell you, I was aroused watching the show. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Aroused, Jesus Christ! I was aroused.
I was aroused, you know, and then
man, yeah. You was aroused watching Link fly through the sky.
Yeah, we also got Fire Emblem Engage. I thought Slow-Mo would be excited about that and maybe go out and buy a Switch, and he said no, he's gonna be playing on his Steam Deck.
You should have asked him, is it natively going to be on his Steam Deck, or is he going to do the hokey doke?
He's going to do the hokey doke.
Yeah, exactly. That man said, "Oh, I'm going to buy it and support the developer." No, you're not.
Oh wow! So you're saying Slow-Mo doesn't support developers?
He not when it comes to Nintendo.
Wow. Okay.
That's not a hot take. He already knows how I know it. I know that's how he feels. That's
right.
okay. That's okay. I'm not going to tell Doug Bowser.
All right. So Fire Emblem Engage expected to come out January 2023. All right. So I expect Fire Emblem to be good because the first one was good. Engage. So that's two games right there, Forte. So you might be onto something here. It Takes Two. That's coming out November 4th. That's actually a really good game, by the way, if you haven't played it. Fatal Frame, Mask of the Lunar Eclipse, that's also coming out to Nintendo Switch next year. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 DLC, that's coming out October 13th as part of, the Wave 3 for Xenoblade Chronicles 3 expansion pass. More heroes are coming to Wave 3 too. Wave 2 is coming on October 13th. Also, Fist of the North Star.
Did you say Fit?
Fist.
I thought you said Fit at the first.
Yeah, it's the fitness boxing game is coming into Switch March 2023. Tunic is on its way to Nintendo Switch on September 27th. What else? Front Mission, a bunch of Front Mission remakes are coming to Nintendo Switch. That's November. It's coming in November, and then Front Mission 2 in 2023, and then there's a Front Mission 3 that's coming out in the future. Splatoon 3, that is
out now.
It's out now, but I think there's some
selling like crazy.
Yeah, what is it? 3.5 million in Japan in like 3 days.
Listen, bro,
what do you see? What do you see at retail at your store, Forte? That's what I want to know.
I've been sold out since day one.
Really? Of the game?
The game, day one, and people been trying to find copies of it for a minute. I had to turn away probably like 5 or 6 people today because I didn't have it. I sold like 4 copies of it digitally because that's the only way you can kind of get it right now. But dude, that ever since they did the Splatfest, I forget exactly what they called it. They did it. Yeah,
Splatfest is there's one coming this month, the 23rd, 25th.
They did it the 2 or 3 days before the game came out, and a lot of people really, really like that. And I'm trying to tell y'all that multiplayer is fire.
Bro, let me tell you something.
It's so good.
I slept on Splatoon. I was like, I'm not gonna play that shit. Shit's kiddie, right?
No, it's
not. I got
It's
body.
really not.
I got body playing online, dude. The Splatoon 2.
Those people over there don't be playing, man.
No.
It's a art running through your own color and moving faster and everything. It's really cool, but
it's a really good game.
But the sales, like I don't know why people was sleeping on Splatoon. Like when I heard it came out, I pre-ordered that thing instantly because I know what could they have done better with Splatoon 3? I mean 2, yeah, absolutely. But they did so many good things with 3 as they innovate. I mean with 2 as they innovated towards the end of it. That when I started to see what they were implementing in part 3, I was like, oh, this is gonna be legit. And and they got stuff coming out in the future for it. So they already got a nice little roadmap for that game before even the end of this year.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, those sales numbers, those were Japan, 3.5 million in 3 days. And that game apparently is huge in Japan. It'd be interesting
That's
to see
where
how
the championships are. That's where the Splatoon championships are.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see how it does in the States. But that's interesting to hear, Forte, from a retail perspective, at least for your store, that it's been sold out. The physical copies have been sold out since it released. So, what Forte mentioned, the Splatfest, that's going to be held the 23rd to the 25th. And Nintendo said more free updates are coming for the game in the future as well. And then we also have the sequel to Octopath Traveler.
Yes, that was the sleeper for me. I was like,
dude,
yo,
I was surprised. I was like, first of all, Square Enix is releasing mad content, like big shout out to Square Enix. Like they're just releasing a lot of stuff. That comes out. Okay, so Forte, February 24th, 2023. So we have Fire Emblem, Octopath Traveler 2. And we have, what's it called? Zelda. On in the first 4 months?
The first
3
5 months.
5 months. That's 3 games right there.
It's gonna be ridiculous, bro.
Yep. There's also let's see. They announced Fae Farm, which is coming out. It kind of gave me like Animal Crossing vibes. But it's a online multiplayer or local online. It's a multiplayer game. That's coming spring of 2023. Then there's Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm Final Bar Line, which is basically a like rhythm game
the rhythm games.
Yeah, there's like 385 songs. That actually looked okay. Like I don't know if I would play it. I might try it.
It was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool on 3DS when they did it on 3DS. I can only imagine how much better it's going to be implemented on the Switch. Because of the touchpad. You did have some touch functionality on the 3DS, but it still was a little bit of real janky because you used the stylus for it. I think on this one, it's going to probably be a little bit better, especially just sound-wise, it's going to be better because the Switch has better speakers on it too.
Yeah. Let's see here. Mario Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
That's coming too.
That's coming October.
Yep.
Rune Factory 3 is coming next year for Nintendo Switch. And let's see here. Oh, and then some Nintendo 64 games. I think Pilot Wing 64, Mario Party, Mario Party 2, Mario Party 3, Pokemon Stadium. Look, I
and they all come into Nintendo Online.
Yes.
But Forte, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor.
Yo.
I need you to get Doug Bowser on the phone.
Yeah, what's up? What you need me to ask him?
I need you to tell him to put Diddy Kong Racing.
Yo, you're right. You know what? Next time, next time I'm in the room, when I'm gonna be like, "Yo, what's up with that Diddy Kong Racing, man?"
Diddy Kong Racing was so good.
That is literally the definitive kart racer. People talk about Mario Kart being it. No, Diddy Kong was it before. Yeah, Diddy Kong Racing would be that would be good.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually excited to see. I was actually a fan of Excitebike 64 when that came out, so I'm happy to see that.
Excitebike was always fun. I love that, especially the track creator that you had in it.
I love the track creator. Yeah, I used to. Yeah, 1080 snowboarding, Pokemon Stadium 2, and then the big one, GoldenEye 007 is coming to Nintendo Switch Online. now with online multiplayer. It's also coming to Xbox as well.
With no multiplayer.
With no online multiplayer. But it's going to have...
Tell me how Microsoft let that happen.
It has something to do with the...
it's because Nintendo owns the IP.
But I thought it had something to do with the way its emulator or something. I thought I read that. I don't...
Well, supposedly it runs like crap on the Switch. So who knows at this point? We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. So
I'll definitely do it though. I definitely play, but it should have been a full fledged remake on the Xbox at least. If you're not going to give at least a multiplayer, at least let the single player portion be something that is appealing to look at.
Mm-hmm.
So, but no, man, Nintendo killed it. I always look at their end of the year directs.
Oh, real quick, Forte, and they announced Pikmin 4.
Oh yeah. I mean, listen, this is the thing with Nintendo. They know how to whet your appetite and say, wait, here's what's coming next year. And then you start getting that stuff, but then you get that low where it's like, okay, Nintendo ain't talked about nothing in 6 months. Because remember, earlier this year, everybody's like, well, what Nintendo got going on? Nintendo has had a down year. The only thing that's came out this year is Arceus and a couple other games and stuff. But now you see it's all coming together, and Nintendo's about to have probably one of the strongest years this year, and especially towards the beginning of next year. So people always look at the holidays like, okay, so why am I buying my Switch? Why do I buy a system now? What am I going to play on it? Nintendo looks at it like, not only can you play the stuff that's already out, but this is the stuff that you're going to be getting over the next 4 to 5 months after you buy your system too. Mm-hmm. So that's the power of having IP that lasts forever. Like their games, no matter when you play them, you can play Breath of the Wild 6 years ago, or you can play it for the first time now. It's just as good. People still talk about it and revel about it just as much. If you want to get into the next Fire Emblem, you can go back and play Three Hopes right now, get a really good experience and understand what the next one is. And the same thing with Octopath. If you never played Octopath and you're really into the Final Fantasy job systems and stuff, you can go back and play Octopath and get ready for the new one when it comes out. Nintendo has been very masterful with that. They definitely had some hiccups along the way, but can't nobody deny that when Nintendo puts their best foot forward, they definitely knock it out of the park, and I definitely have to give them a really, really good win. And I already knew as soon as they announced the new Zelda, I was like, oh, they're instantly going to get a lot of love just for that. And I truly love the name because I didn't know if I really wanted it to be called Breath of the Wild 2. But the fact that they named it the way they named it, it kind of gives it its own identity. Like it's more of something that's you haven't played before.
Feels like a new Zelda.
Yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. Or it just sounds like it too. So
yeah. There's some other updates to current games. Actually, there's some other games. Various Day Life. That's an RPG developed by designers who worked on Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default. That's coming to Nintendo Switch. I think that actually came that day, I think. But some updates to Mario Strikers Battle League. There's a free update with Pauline Diddy Kong, plus new stadium gear. There's a Battle League this month. And then some updates to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. There's 2 new courses that are coming in Wave 3 of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Merry Mountain for Mario Kart Tour and Peach Gardens for Mario Kart DS. They'll be released this year. And then there's an update with Nintendo Switch Sports. Golf is coming with online play.
That's all I was waiting for.
Up to 8 players. Yeah, originally that was originally slated to come this fall, but it's actually now planned for holiday of this year. So we mentioned Pikmin 4 was announced. Actually, the one still shot that they showed that I thought looked pretty good. Then Just Dance 2023. Another farming game, Harvestella, was announced as well. That's coming November 4th. There's a demo available now in the Nintendo eShop. We saw Bayonetta 3. That's launching October 28th. And then we also, Resident Evil Village is coming, but via cloud on October 28th. So that there's a demo out right now, and then new DLC is coming December 2nd. And then Sifu was also announced for the Nintendo Switch, and that's coming November 8th. And then Crisis Core is coming out December 13th as well. So, then there's some other games. Let's see here. Radiant Silvergun, that was released on Tuesday. Endless Dungeon is coming to Switch next year. Tales of Symphonia, that's a remaster that's coming out next year as well. Life is Strange Arcadia Bay Collection, that's coming to Nintendo Switch later this month. Gosh, there's so many games here. Fall Guys Season 2 begins September 15th. And then, okay, there's a few more, but that's the majority of the list there. So I got to say again, I think this was a great showing, great Nintendo Direct. Like I said, I give it a B+. I'll throw it out to the panel. What do you guys think of the showing? Any games that you're definitely going to pick up?
Man, I'm definitely getting Octopath Traveler 2. Gotta get the new Zelda.
Yep.
I think what was the other stuff? Like they kind of lost me. They showed like 5 farm games like back to back to back. I'm like,
yeah,
yo,
they did. It's like
how many crops you want me to plant, man? God damn. But yeah, I mean they definitely have stuff coming that I'm interested in. You know, Fire Emblem is definitely day one. But those are probably like a top 3. I think that didn't they showed another JRPG that I was interested in too. But yeah, those 3 off the top of my head are definitely day one, and
Yeah.
the show was pretty solid.
mhm.
You know, I probably give it like C+, B-. You know what I mean? Just cause all those farming games I don't care about, but other than that,
Right.
everything else was pretty good.
You know the interesting thing about it, it's like when you think about it, it's like a lot of those games you'd be like, oh man, there's so many games coming out. I gotta pick something because I'll just wait till something goes on sale. But with Nintendo games, it's like I just might as well buy them day one because we already know those prices ain't gonna drop no time soon. We already know Octopath Traveler gonna be $60 for at least a year, and we know Zelda ain't gonna see a discount for 4 years. It was literally 3.5 years before they dropped the price of Breath of the Wild. It was literally $60 up until 2019. So guess what? If you one of those people that want to wait on a deal, you're gonna be waiting on deals on other platforms. When it comes to
you gonna have to go
Nintendo,
somewhere else.
you might as well just Nintendo games. You might as well just buy those boys day one, so you don't get double whammy by missing out on good games and missing out on trying to get something at a cheaper price because it's not
Yep.
gonna happen.
That's so true.
They about to get us, bro. You just named $180 worth of games right there that you gonna spend $180 on no matter when you buy them.
Yep.
Oh
Yeah.
man, funny.
Yeah, no, I'm look, I'm kind of with in terms of like what games I'm looking forward to. I think for me it's Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, Fire Emblem Engage. I still need to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3, but Octopath Traveler 2 is up there for
Man,
me.
that's a long game, bro.
I know that's kind of why I've been like holding off, not getting it.
I can't. Nintendo be getting you on those. I was like, I can't. It's like as much as I do.
Those are perfect wintertime games, though. Like,
Absolutely.
That's actually a
when
good
you
point,
get
B.
yeah, you get in the Christmas game stop coming out. You just dive into those, play them through like mid-January, early February once all this other stuff starts kicking up again. But that's the time I play those games.
Yeah, because I think Xenoblade's like what 130 hours.
Yeah, it's too much, man. It's too much.
That game long, bro. That game so long you make you want to go to sleep. Like, man, I need to take a nap. I need to take a nap. This is a long game, bro. It's good. The story really, really goes very well in that game. But it's like when I think about all of the games that's coming out, like Breath of the Wild. I mean, Breath of the Wild is going to be an easy 100 and something hour game just because you're going to want to do everything inside of it. And then Octopath wasn't short. It was still 60 hours to go through that game, especially if you did all of the different character arcs and stuff and all their story missions. It took a minute to go through that game. So, man, you be careful with these RPGs when it comes to Nintendo.
Yeah, no doubt. Logic, I know you have a Switch, man. Anything kind of catch your eye? Anything you might be interested in picking up, man, from the Nintendo Direct?
His Switch still in his dresser.
No, my Switch is actually on the same battle station as my primary gaming PC.
Battle station.
Yeah, it's rigged and ready to go. I play it frequently.
That's what I'm talking about, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, there were 8 titles that caught my eye that I'm interested in. Legend of Zelda, Fire Emblem Engage. I mentioned this only to kind of, as you mentioned, like balance the scales and be real, right? Like Fire Emblem Engage, I'm always excited about Fire Emblem. The game looks interesting from my perspective. However, it looked interesting because it looks very similar to Three Houses, right? Just with a different, like in a different geography. So I didn't see anything like whiz bang particularly different than what I expect. Would have got out of Three Houses. So. I can see how if anybody, but again, the Fire Emblem faithful probably aren't looking for a ton of innovation, right, and changes in that franchise. Love the stuff coming to the Nintendo Switch Online and expansion pack. I didn't up for the expansion pack until this year, so I'm glad to see some things coming. GoldenEye gets a lot of hate and shade about the multiplayer, but I never played GoldenEye because I didn't have a Nintendo 64. I'm actually most interested to get into this to play the single player campaign. So it showing up on whatever platform is fine for me. But I'm also glad to see Pilot Wing 64, 1080 snowboarding, and Excitebike 64 coming in the expansion pack. I'm just glad to see more stuff coming to the expansion pack because the problem for me always has been they jacked the price on that. They threw a few games on there, and then I'm like, okay, what happens now? Because I'm not necessarily certain this is worth the price of admission. Hopefully this means that some additional games will come to the Sega side of the expansion pack as well. Good to see the Resident Evil games there. I think those are cool things to have in portable format. I'm actually glad to see Kirby's Return to Dreamland showing up. Haven't been an historic Kirby player. It's something I'm interested to play, but also I think my kids will like having access to it. Good to see It Takes Two. Did you mention Sifu was coming?
I did mention Sifu, yeah.
Okay. I'm glad to see Sifu showing up there. Again, good game to have in portable format. And one thing I think you didn't mention, but I think that will be firmly in my wheelhouse, is Front Mission First Remake and Front Mission 2 Remake. I'm excited to see those show up. So.
Yep, no, I mentioned that as well, yeah.
Okay, all right, my bad.
Yep. I think there's a new Front Mission game, I think, coming next year, I think, as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think they said that, but I'd have to go back and look again, so... No, look, again, solid show. I mean, got me excited for stuff coming to Nintendo Switch, and look, we're eating well. We're eating well as gamers right now, so or will be eating well very shortly. So, look, gentlemen, I do want to move on. If we don't have any more commentary on the Nintendo Direct, I do want to move on to the second show of the day, which was PlayStation's State of Play. Now, I gave this one show not as high. Well, I gave it a B. So let me just run down a quick list of, by the way, Tokyo Game Show is coming up shortly. I think the Xbox Tokyo Game Show live stream starts in 6 hours, I think. So that's happening as well. All right. So, Sony State of Play, I thought it was really good. Gave it a B. We saw Tekken 8. Let me tell you, I haven't been into fighting games in years, but I tell you what, Tekken 8 looked pretty good. Looked really good, actually. So we saw Tekken 8. We talked about PlayStation VR 2 today, earlier this evening. Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge got a new gameplay trailer. I thought that looked pretty cool. And then Demio was actually announced for PlayStation VR 2. I've played Demio on Oculus Quest 2. It's basically a table down, like, D&D type game. It's kind of cool, like, basically like going to a basement. Like, it's funny. You're like in a basement, kind of like how we used to play Dungeons and Dragons. And it's a, you roll the dice, and it's a tabletop game, much like D&D. So that was announced. Let's see here. Yakuza. What is it? Yakuza Ishin spinoff game getting a Western release. It's like a dragon. That's getting a release. That comes out February of 2023 for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. We saw more Hogwarts Legacy. It's getting a PlayStation exclusive quest. So we did see that we saw that from Hogwarts Legacy. There was kind of an interesting game. Pacific Drive was kind of interesting. That was
when they first showed that.
I thought
the original Silent Hill. Like in
That's
the
what I
original
thought.
one,
Yeah.
pull up to that little gas station. I was
Yep.
outside. I was like, oh
Yep.
shit, is this Silent Hill? And it wasn't. I was
Yeah,
kind
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, no, I could see that. So that's a post-apocalyptic game that's set in the Pacific Northwest. So they show that off. We got information on the PlayStation Stars loyalty program. It's going to start rolling out later this month. So they showed some of the like different things you can get, collectible items that you can get from that program. So we saw Sin Duality, which is from Bandai Namco. It's a third-person shooter featuring mechs. That game didn't do anything for me. We also saw Project Eve. That's actually renamed to Stellar Blade. That's coming next year. What's interesting, that game was actually originally announced for the Xbox as well. It's no longer coming to Xbox. It's in fact going to be exclusive to PlayStation. So I think I've heard or maybe read, someone in the live chat could confirm, or somebody on the panel, I thought that that Sony had actually come in and provided some additional funding to that game, which is why it's going to be exclusive though. But I thought that game actually looked pretty good.
Well, Sony's always blocking, so.
Yeah, Sony's always blocking. We know that they're dirty tricks.
Once she did that pirouette and slashed, and then she pulled that gun out, I was sold.
You know what, Forte? Me too, sir. I was like,
as soon as she pointed the gun, I was like, yo, okay, I'm in.
Exactly.
I'm in. I don't know what it is about games that have combat like that with guns in it.
Man.
It literally just clicked right there, because I was like, oh, this looks cool. And then she did that pirouette, and then she pointed that gun, and I was like, oh, it's on.
Yeah,
I'm definitely trying this game out.
I'm with you, Forte. And then the one game that really always got me really excited was Team Ninja announcing Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah, Ronin, that looked really cool.
Yeah, which is going to be a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Now the release
Is that
window
supposed to be an MMO?
I don't think so.
I can't remember what they said.
I think it's an open
massive.
world.
It's an open RPG. Yeah,
it's an open world. Yeah, samurai game. Yeah, so that's set in. That's going to be released in the 2024 window. So that's the first trailer that we see. That's going to be exclusive to PlayStation 5. Then they end the show showing a God of War PlayStation DualSense controller.
Oh, they had me big mad for a minute.
And I was like,
they had me big mad for a minute, bro.
Yeah,
I was like, are you literally about to end this? I was like, look at it. I was like, oh, good, God of War. And I was like, are you really? And then I was watching that. Oh, we already see this trailer. Don't do this, Sony. And then they showed us a freaking controller, and I was like, oh my god, did I just get transported into an Xbox showcase where we show controllers?
Oh, don't do that. No, don't do that.
No, listen. No, it's for real though. No,
Forte.
Listen,
we are fair and balanced here.
No. I love you are fair and balanced. I love Xbox, and Xbox got a controller problem. They like to show controllers as highlights to their big showcases, and I wasn't in for that for no God of War. First of all, the controller the controller looked okay. I was like, okay, the controller looked fine, but they knew they better not have ended that show with a freaking controller reveal. And I'm kind of a little upset that they showed as much as they showed of that trailer, because that trailer that they showed for God of War was nothing but spoiler heaven. It's like, I was like, yo, this looks cool, but I could have saw all this in the game in about a month and a half. But it is what it is. I got to see more God of War, but they could have kept that controller. I was like, man, that could have been in the press release.
Yeah, well,
but I mean, I feel like with Ragnarok, and this is no diss or hit on Ragnarok. Again, it's a statement of what I feel like what is. We knew where the game was set. We knew that it's a follow-on to God of War. We knew it's steeped in the same mythology. There's only so many more Norse gods left for him to fight. We knew he was gonna face that. Like, I don't feel like they revealed anything that we didn't kind of have a very good inkling was coming anyway. And again, not a knock on God of War Ragnarok, but it's it's God of War, right? It's the completion of the story, and just like I would say kind of The Last of Us 2, and some of the other great games that they've put out. I don't think that there was like a big air of mystery. So I think they did what they needed. They got everybody lathered up. They showed us some really stupendous visuals, which I think is what at the end of the day everybody's most excited about, because I don't think there's going to be a huge change in mechanics. So I think that they did what they needed to do. They're firmly now in the pre-order window, and I'm sure a bunch of people went out after they saw that trailer and plunked down more money on pre-orders.
Yeah, no, I've already pre-ordered mine, but no, I kind of agree with Forte. Like I was like, I hope they don't end this with just showing the controller, because I want to see more footage. And I agree with you, like Logic. We know this is a continuation of the story. We know that he's fighting more Norse gods. We know he's fighting what's his name, Thor. So we have a good sense of what this game is. I was excited though to see some additional gameplay cinematics. That was kind of cool to see. But yeah, I'm excited. Like I thought it was a great way to end the show. I thought it was their best state of play in a long time, a very long time actually. So. Forte, since you seem kind of excited about the state of play. Anything else from that state of play kind of stayed out to you? Anything you might be interested in? Forte's on mute. All right, I'll go to you, B Money.
Oh, my fault. I didn't know I was mute.
Okay, we'll go back to Forte.
No, I said Ronin looked really, really good. I'm really looking forward to that, because I think we'll get another. I think Ghost of Tsushima did a really, really good job with the feudal Japan setting. I'm thinking this is going to do probably even better after it has a little bit of time to actually see and look and see exactly what they did. Because I think this is basically just another iteration on top of that, but with that Team Ninja feel, with the Ninja Gaiden feel, and the combat and the stealth aspects and stuff to it. So I think that's going to be really, really cool. Like I said, once I saw the gun in Stellar Blade, I was like, yep, I'm in for this one. I definitely got to give it a try. Got to see exactly what they're going to do from there. But for the most part, those was like the main three for me. Those three and it just happened to be towards the very end of the show. I ain't gonna lie, as soon as I saw God of War, I just drew a blank on everything pretty much the first 10 minutes before that. I don't care about them talking. I hate when they get up there and they want to talk about rewards and stuff like that. They did the PlayStation Star segment and stuff, and I was like, okay, that's cool. Talk about these little trinkets and stuff that you can get by doing achievements and stuff in games, which is fine. But once again, I feel like it's something that could have been in the blog post. But the one thing I will say is they were very, very concise with their overall messaging, which they definitely have not been in all of their state of plays. I think the fact that they actually had a lot of good stuff to show is also part of the reason why a lot of people will digest this show a lot better than any other show. And the fact that, as much as I hate that they showed off as much of Ragnarok and Game Logic is correct, we didn't know what was coming, but it's like the story and it's like the adventure of doing it and seeing it for yourself. Like, I just wanted to be able to see some of that stuff, how they were going to do it versus already knowing it was going to happen. Like, I know that Kratos is going to beat these guys and he's going to beat that guy. And I also just took little tidbits like, the story of Kratos about, dying and everything. And he said, we're going to rewrite our own fate. So what does that mean? So that's got me thinking in my mind too, like, okay, is Kratos not going to die in this game now? Because that was kind of the whole theory around the whole God of War premise and stuff, and, finding a way to get past that. So there's a lot of stuff that they opened up with that I really appreciate. It's just that I wish I would have got a chance to just see it in game. But by the time this game comes out, there'll be so much other stuff that's going to blow my face off when that game finally releases. I just can't wait for November 9th. You just can't get here fast enough, honestly.
Yeah, no doubt, man. No doubt. Let's go to B. B, what are your thoughts, man, on the show?
It was a great show, man. They started off with Tekken 8. Tekken is my favorite fighting game. They started off with father and son going at it. This is supposed to be the last chapter of the Bloodline story. So pretty excited about Tekken 8. Visually, it looks pretty damn good. You can see that a lot of the fighters that are coming out over the last couple years have taken more of a stylistic look to them. Yeah, I mean, we saw that with Street Fighter.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6, yeah.
Yeah, we've seen that with Guilty Gear, and you know what I mean. So now Tekken is at the helm. So it makes me excited just to see what like the next Soul Calibur is going to look like, the next Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean. The next Injustice game, like what level those games are going to get to. So Tekken starting off with Tekken 8 was pretty hype for me, you know. But you know, the other three games that you guys mentioned are all on my list as well. You know what I mean? The Rise of Ronin, that just, you know, took the cake for me. You know what I mean? We know what we're getting with God of War, but to see like a new IP, see Sony backing Team Ninja again, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They always, you know, seem to work out pretty well and come up with something special. So
AB, does
um,
that game I don't mean to interrupt you, but that game speaks to what I think we were talking about and what you had mentioned quite a bit right around the start of this console generation. That Sony was going to be doing these kinds of things, investing in, exclusives, not for just from a first party perspective, but second party or third party exclusives. And we're seeing all this stuff like come to fruition now. Like I remember you mentioning a lot of this stuff like when the generation started. So I thought about that when I saw this announcement. I'm like, oh shit, this is kind of what B had been talking about at the start of the generation.
yeah, and this is only going to continue. Like they've been working with Team Ninja for quite a while, and this game actually has been something that they've been working on for quite a few years now. So it's nice to see it actually, you know, come to light, and people are pretty hyped about it. It's had a lot of views on YouTube already, so pretty excited about that one. And then that Sin Duality game, I'm not sure about it yet. I mean, it's cool because it's mechs. I'll probably definitely, you know, check it out or look at some videos as it gets closer to release. But those are probably the ones I would mention. Everything else was, you know, stuff that we kind of knew about. The VR stuff it's cool. Like it's just something that you would check out, you know, if you have VR
Yeah.
or whatnot. But you know,
What
we
about
knew.
Stellar Blade? B, was that what was
Oh yeah,
formerly Project?
Stellar Blade is day one.
Yeah.
Bayonetta who? Yeah, I mean, like, why you need Bayonetta when you got that this 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 new character in Stellar Blade? You know what I mean? So definitely day one for me. Stellar Blade, God of War, of course. You know what I mean? Rise of the Ronin and Tekken 8. Those are all day ones for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think now B, you're saying they're still gonna have like another show. They're still gonna have a showcase though.
There is rumors out there that they are supposed to be doing something second or third week of October. So
Yeah, okay. Okay.
you know, there are a couple of shooters that are supposed to be announced you know, before the end of the fiscal year. One of them actually is supposed to be due out before the holiday season. I don't know if they're going to push it back or not, but one of them was supposed to be due out during the holiday season. So we'll see if that actually does happen or not, or if they kind of restructure this depending on, I guess, so Call of Duty thing, or you know, if they want to just go ahead full force with it, because there are a couple games that are already done that we have not seen yet. There's stuff that Adam Boys and Shuhei, when they were kind of in charge, that we still haven't seen yet. You know what I mean? That's completed and ready to go. So they have stuff that's loaded up that we just haven't seen yet. So the showcase should be coming pretty soon. There's definitely a lot to share. I'm not sure, you know, how much stuff that they are going to share, but there's definitely a lot of stuff to share from a first and second party standpoint. So and they have VR coming too. And we've seen, you know, the trickle out of some VR titles being announced, but there's supposed to be over 20 titles at launch, and this is supposed to be out in February or March. So there has to be some point when they actually talk about that stuff as well, a little bit more in depth. So based on everything I heard, we should be seeing something in October. but I guess things can change, so we'll see.
Yeah, no doubt, B. No, I appreciate some of that. Sharing some of the things you've heard. Real quick, Hamp.
Yeah, I like Tekken 8. I don't know.
Oh, wait, hold on, Hamp. Hold on, I got a question.
Yeah,
I got to ask you something. Guess who gave us a super chat?
Mr. Worldwide himself, the great Bor Country.
$5 super chat. Oh, Bobore is upset with you, Forte. He says Forte just wants to criticize something about PlayStation. What if the trailer was the first 10 hours of God of War? Thank God only one shooter in the show. Or maybe saying Gears of War. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what he's talking about. God of War, Gears of War. You made him very unhappy, Forte. Thank you for the super chat, Bobore. All right, go ahead, Hamp.
Yeah, I liked. It's nice to see Tekken 8 back. It was kind of, in my mind, it was kind of the first fighting game that kind of really started weaving in elements of story into like the little cutscenes of the gameplay before really kind of Mortal Kombat really doubled down on that. I don't know if I'll jump in that pool. What I had really fallen in love with was Tekken Tag Tournament. And I haven't been so much enamored with like the single fighter versions of Tekken, but I have enjoyed Tekken in the past, so we'll see. I liked Like a Dragon edition.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Before you go on, who was your duo Tekken Tag?
So okay, this is a big ton of inside baseball. So the group that I played with, and we used to hold little Tekken, local play tournaments. You could have no preference. We forced everyone to play random, so that you wouldn't be able to play with like your go-to guys.
Okay.
So I personally liked, I can't remember all their names, but I liked the police officer. I think Lee was his name, and then the guy who was like Bruce Lee. Were kind of my favorites. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, but I especially like Lee. My brother's really good at Lee, but you can do a lot of stuff with Lee that the laying down and playing dead and stuff like that really catch people off guard. Oh. I like a Dragon. BRAP, you and I have talked a lot about the legacy of Sega in recent past, so it's super interesting to see a Yakuza-like game coming in. That's steeped back in this kind of feudal Japan, and I think Ghost of Tsushima has done something to the landscape of the industry where people feel like it's safe maybe to take a whack at this kind of time period. Yeah. And so it's great to see, and I'm super excited about like seeing something like this come along. I like Synduality. It's a game that's very much in my wheelhouse. I've been a big player of like mech oriented games, but it's a wait and see. I felt like the camera angle and some of the presentation didn't give me a warm fuzzy for it being as much of a mech game in the Mech Warrior or even the Titanfall vein. And I'm waiting to see exactly what their take on it is going to be. I like Stellar Blade. Rise of the Ronin looked beautiful. My only question on Rise of the Ronin, has Team Ninja done an RPG?
Well, they did. They did, what's it called? The Souls-like game. What the hell is it called?
Is it Neo done by them?
Yeah, Neo. Yeah, Neo 1 and 2. That's Team Ninja. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll keep the energy up for that one. Yeah. I'm not as gaga for Like a Dragon or God of War Ragnarok as some other people are, but they're God of War Ragnarok is a nice delivery this fall, and kind of has enough space to kind of spread its wings and occupy some mind share. So I don't know if I'm necessarily going to be on there day one, but there's tons of time between when it comes out and before anything really else big drops in February, early spring of next year. So and time cut across the holidays. So it's a good chance I'll get in on it. I actually like the controller. Coming from Xbox where we have design labs and all that kind of stuff. I have a ton of Xbox controllers. I don't normally keep a ton of PlayStation controllers.
You're the reason why they keep showing us controllers in the show.
Hey, I have no problems with that.
They're like, Hamp's watching. We got to drop some controllers.
I have no problems when Xbox does it because part of the allure of the Xbox platform is the hardware. So whether you like it or not, that's my personal taste and preference. So I don't mind that stuff being shown off. Although, like I said last week, I don't get what the Elite Controller Core is for. But it was nice here to see the controller. If I do go down the path of God of War Ragnarok, I don't mind picking that up. Do we know when the Edge is coming out?
I don't remember, man.
I don't know if they gave us a release date for that.
I don't recall. But I will be picking up that God of War controller though, for sure. Like that.
Yeah.
That was like, okay, this is like a nice custom controller from them. Because I feel like they don't have a lot. Like you mentioned, like Xbox has Design Lab. They have definitely more custom controllers. Like the one I got, I remember Forte and Slow-Mo were making fun of me. I got the Forza 5 controller, which they said looked like Fruity Pebbles. It's like someone threw Fruity Pebbles inside the controller. But that's actually one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite controllers.
Yeah, I never buy like their template controllers, but I do. I've ordered. I think I have 2 from the Xbox Design Lab controllers from the Xbox One generation, and I've ordered 2 this generation. I do. I guess the one like branded or IP one I actually have a Mirror's Edge controller back from the I guess early Xbox One era. So yeah,
gotcha. Yeah,
it should be cool.
Yeah, no, look, I thought those are great shows. We have Tokyo Game Show coming up. The Xbox showcase for that event's gonna start streaming in 5.5 hours. So hopefully there's some more gaming announcements. But I tell you, this was great. I was so excited to see all the games from both Nintendo and Sony. It kind of felt like E3 to me a little bit. It was great. It was great, and I just 2023 is gonna be freaking awesome. Look, I want to give, first of all, I would give a big shout out to everyone in the live chat. Thank you everyone for hanging out. Please, hit some more likes. We got like 90 people here watching, only 50 likes. Let's hit the like button. If you're new, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you're alerted when we go live. I'm probably gonna do a BRAP rant this weekend. I just don't know when. So I got to figure out my schedule first. See how that pans out. But, anyhow, and then what was I gonna say? Now I forgot. I had something else to say, another announcement, but I don't know, I forgot. Anyhow, look, want to give a big shout out to B Money. Dude, it's been we've missed you, man. Happy you could join us today, man. And dude, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me everywhere. Same name, B Money 101. I'm currently playing 2K because that game just came out I don't know, like a week ago or something like that. So if you want to get a game in, definitely hit me up. But that's where I'm at. So
no doubt,
you boys next week.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, B. Always great talking video games with you, man. And then we have Hamp, Lee Hampton, the artist formerly known as Game Logic. Hamp, man, always a pleasure talking shop with you, sir. I guess I think I know the spiel now. People want to find you, they can find you, right?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter under Hamp, and you can always, if you choose to subject yourself to it, you can swing by my own podcast, the Enough to Keep Going Weekly Games Podcast, on the E2KG Network podcasting channel on YouTube, Sunday nights at 8:45 p.m. So I'll see you guys there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And then we have Forte, man. Dude, always a pleasure having you on. I don't know where your brother Slow-Mo was, but we missed Slow-Mo tonight. Maybe he fell asleep. But Forte, you guys have a show tomorrow. Let everyone know where is it going to be on your channel or Slow-Mo
It is on my channel too. It is on my channel tomorrow.
It's on the good channel.
Oh no, it's his channel's the better channel. It's on my channel, Gaming Forte, everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live, PlayStation, DPS podcast, 9 p.m. tomorrow. Gonna be lit. Make sure you come check it out. And if you're into that Destiny and that stuff, come through the channel, sub to the channel for that stuff. It's always a great time. Talk to you guys later. Have a good week. Great to be back. Peace.
Yeah, absolutely, Forte, and definitely check out DPS podcast tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Forte's channel. So, and again, big shout out to Slow-Mo. Couldn't make it tonight, but Slow-Mo, we missed you, man. We missed you, sir. But look, everyone, have a great rest of the week. Enjoy playing video games, because that's what it's all about. And we'll catch you next time. And by the way, give me a follow on Twitter as well, BRAP_podcast. So that way you can, be up to speed with all the announcements and stuff when we go live and all that other good stuff. So we're out, everyone. Thank you. We'll catch you next time.